Get feeling? Zero to start.
I think this just might be my masterpiece.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Average Joe's Movie Clubcast presents Schlock Talk, watching hot-ass trash so you don't have to. I'm Joey.
And I'm Jenna.
And tonight we're going to talk about the 2015 film Llamageddon.
Glorious.
Oh yeah, it was definitely glorious. That would be the term I would use. So before we get into the movie specifically itself, this is going to be one of my new first-time co-hosts, Jenna.
The pleasure is mine.
Well, thank you. Glad you decided to come on. So, unlike my roommate Carl, we've known each other for years and years on end, and obviously we live together. We talk about movies all the time. You're actually one of the newer people in my friend group. How I met you is that you're dating one of my good friends, who's air quotes, my brother from another mother, because we have the same last name but aren't related.
You act like you're related sometimes, but that's okay.
Well, when you all play nerdy card games, it kind of can blend together.
Melding of the minds, the hive mind.
Yes, and in our current D&D campaign, he's a dirty rogue, and I was a dirty rogue in the one before that, so...
Copycat.
Well, you're just trying to be like your mans. So, that being said, I asked these questions to Carl last time. I pretty much knew most of them. I'm gonna ask these questions to you. Don't really know them. I just remember the first time you came to our old apartment, the first time you kind of just gravitated towards the two big movie shelves.
Hell yeah.
And then I know that you told me a little bit how you were getting into movies and stuff when you were younger. Mm-hmm. And you do spend a lot of time at our movie shelves.
It's like a candy shop.
But basically how we became better friends is actually someone in your family had the plague, right?
Yes. Actually, most of my family all got the plague at the same time, so I couldn't go home, couldn't see anybody.
And instead of you having to couch surf everywhere, you just basically lived in our living room for 2 weeks, a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was like a week and a half.
Yeah, and now you
a fixture in the living room.
And now you're just here.
I just show up sometimes now.
Yeah, so
on my favorite couch.
I mean, for a $10 couch, that couch is pretty lit.
Being in for $10.
Big up to Steven and Betsy who sold me that couch for $10. I know they're probably not going to listen to this, but big ups to them for deciding that they wanted to be a responsible married couple and get a nice couch that probably matched everything. And now I've got a red couch that matches.
Bright red doesn't match everything if you want it to.
I mean, everything matches if you want it to.
Exactly.
But bachelor. Anywho. So, before we start asking some questions, so how did it come in that you kind of liked watching these schlocky style of movies?
Well, growing up, like I told you, we always watched tons of movies. This is a normal thing for me. We would have family movie night, family movie time, and then my dad always liked going to yard sales and stuff, so he would bring home stacks of just random movies that he hasn't looked through. And my brother Nathan and I, we would just go through, and we would spend an hour just digging around, going through these, sorting into the I would never watch this versus I would love this. And we would go through, pick a couple, watch one or two of them. Most of the time it was garbage, but sometimes it was fun that it was garbage. It was just dude, you remember that one time we watched that utter piece of trash? Yeah, that was pretty bad. Let's do it again. And sometimes, occasionally, we would find a rare gem, and it was this cool little treasure hunt up. I probably am going to find worthlessness that I'm never going to watch again, but occasionally you find the treasures.
And it's kind of, I go to a local pawn shop, mm-hmm. and I'm hunting to get collector's editions or steelbooks on the cheap or Criterions, but I've bought so many $1 DVD.
Because it's $1.
Well, it's 16 horror movies or 10 horror movies, and none of them are good. There's not $1 worth out of 16 movies, but sometimes you can't help it. Like I did get Saw, the whole Saw collection from there with the digital code for like $8. No, $1. Excuse me, $1 for 8 movies.
One
it's
doll
kind of
hair.
crazy. Yeah, $1 hair. So that being said, now we've welcomed you into mine and Carl's. We watch a bunch of shitty movies, and boy howdy did we watch a shitty one a little while ago.
It was everything and more than I expected.
I mean, with a name like Llamageddon.
If you don't know what you're saddling up to, I can't help you.
Yes. All right. So I'll hit you with a couple of these questions on the quick.
All right.
All right. So we already talked about how you do like the shitty horror movies. Is obviously why we're here. But
Yes.
what would you say is your favorite genre of movie?
Favorite genre would... That one I didn't think about in advance. Give me a second. I like such a wide variety. Nailing it down is hard, but when I think about the movies that I watch over and over, I am a fantasy, adventure, thriller kind of person with a little bit of romance, a little bit of flavor. But generally, I like dragons, I like fairies, I like castles that you have to storm. Basically,
Oh boy, do we have some shitty movies for you in the future?
I can't wait.
Because Carl likes
yes.
Dungeons and Dragons. I don't want to say Dungeons and Dragons, but
I mean,
but
if the shoe fits, wear it.
basically shit like Conan, but
yes.
worse.
Let's do it. Tell
All
me
right.
when.
All right, so we got your favorite genre. What is your favorite movie?
Again, a hard question. I broke it into 3 parts. So as a child, Fox and the Hound. I watched it over and over and over. It hurt me every time.
Rip my heart out as an adult.
just
Why
like,
don't you?
I watched it again not too long ago, and I was like, yeah, I'm a grown up now. I'm not going to get emotional. That was a lie. Lied to myself. So then, as a teenager, Batman and Robin, one of my favorites. It led into my love of Batman for a long time. I had a crush on Boy Wonder. I still sometimes got a crush on Boy Wonder. No shame.
You mean Batman and Robin with George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell and Arnold Schwarzenegger? Well, that explains a lot about why you like shitty movies.
Yeah, I know it's shitty. That's the bad part, is I know it is, and I love it. I can't help it.
I'm a little bit older than you. So when that movie came out, I was just kind of getting into, like, knowing who celebrities and stuff were. And it was like, Alicia Silverstone.
Ooh.
In tight suit. What?
Where do I sign?
But that movie, I even had the book, like the book that had the movie cover on it. Like I don't have it anymore.
All of the ice to meet you and all that, like, I live for it. Okay.
I mean, that's all Schwarzenegger did in that movie. It's like, hey, we're gonna put you in this weird suit and you're gonna drop bad one-liners. And he was like, where the fuck do I sign? Let's go. Let's get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
All right. So we've got favorite genre, favorite movie. Who is your favorite director?
My favorite director is a tie between Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings, and Tim Burton. I just love the dark. I love the artsy. I love the fantasy. I know I'm a basic bitch to try to own it. I got my Starbucks yesterday, so I'm set.
That wasn't Starbucks. That was that empty cup in my kitchen or in my living room when I came home earlier.
No, that wasn't Starbucks. That was just boba. So also basic.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. You did
basic adjacent.
Well, no, that is basic adjacent, but you were supporting the local store, so we'll let that go a little bit.
All right.
I mean, I can't really say anything like, I mean, everybody in the fantasy realm, anybody that's not even just nerds, but I mean, Lord of the Rings is like the big film thing. Late in my high school, late in high school into college.
Well, not just the movies. Like, I grew up having my mom read them to me, so it's been like my whole life. Lord of the Rings,
so I did it kind of backwards. I didn't really know about it until the movies, but then I've got
a lot of people didn't.
The big trilogy book, read them. I haven't read The Hobbit, but the movies just they weren't as good.
The movies,
but also
the Hobbit movies. I mean, the Hobbit book is as always in every case that I've ever seen. The book is so infinitely better. The movies were kind of a little.
Well, they forced Peter Jackson to stretch it into 3 movies. But anywho, we've got some. You like Peter Jackson? We'll have to. And there's stuff I haven't seen.
There's a lot of other directors I know. Those are just some that popped. Well,
Peter's got some early work that are.
More hot garbage.
They are hot garbage. I don't know if they're going to be as bad as the level that we're on right now, but still, they're not super great. All right. So we've done genre, movie, director, your favorite actor and or actress.
Robin Williams. I will watch pretty much anything with Robin Williams. I just love him. He gets me my feels from Genie to Patch Adams. I love him.
I mean, I don't know if you can top Genie. That is, boy. But before I knew him as Genie, the thing that as a child was Mrs. Doubtfire. It was just him sticking his face in the cake.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. And then lastly, but not least, oh no, next to last, excuse me. I was getting ahead of myself. What was the first movie that you watched that was more than just a movie? Like it either hit you in the feels more, or you realized it was something like art versus, just something to turn your brain off.
Like I said, I've been watching movies so long. I've had so many different experiences where I'm like, ooh, this is what I want. But I think one of the ones that just made me see it the most as an art form, not just like, oh, I was bored, so I just turned something on, so there was noise in the background. It was Les Miserables.
Oh,
and it made me feel so deeply. I forgot everything. I got totally zoned in. I was feeling the emotions of the characters. I was enjoying the style of the directing, and I was like, this is more than just, oh, I'm bored. This is like I'm invested in this.
that was a good movie. I actually read Les Mis, like the book. 7th or 8th grade, because accelerated reader was a thing,
yep.
And I was in 6th grade reading on 12th grade reading levels, and 7th grade was the same. So I could just read whatever the fuck I wanted, and
yeah.
that one was a little much for me.
6th grade.
I think I read it in 7th grade.
7th.
6th grade was Anne Frank's diary, and there was it was the uncut version, so there were spots where, we were talking about anatomy and things. And as a 6th grader, I was like, oh boy.
Okay, more information.
Yeah, so, And then, all right, last but not least, first movie you remember watching in the theater.
This one took me a minute because, again, I love so many movies. The earliest one I remember seeing is The Fellowship of the Ring. I was 8 years old. I remember watching it, and one of my biggest memories is that my little brother was then afraid of all the orcs and Gollum and all that stuff. I just remember after we'd seen The Lord of the Rings, he was terrified. You checking my facts?
No. Oh, that hurts my heart. I said you were younger than me. I didn't seeing it sometimes you said you were 8?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I was 16. I mean, we were talking about Carl and I. His was Bambi, and mine was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So there's a big jump there.
It's the earliest one I can remember. There may have been others, but that's the first.
All right. So now we've done through all the intros, and now we're gonna move in. We're gonna move on to 2015's Llamageddon.
Prepare yourselves.
Yes, prepare yourselves. So, couple of things. While they did use a decent amount of special effects, they actually used a lot of practical effects, including the llama was actually a real llama.
I wanted to pet it. It looked very soft and fluffy.
Yes, it was
when
Louis,
it wasn't blowing people apart.
Yes, Louis the llama.
Louis.
And this movie, so from what I can find out, we watched it on Amazon Prime, so you can find it there streaming. If you have a Prime account, it's free, or you can watch it on Tubi, also free with commercials, so it's pretty easy to get. It did release in 2015. From what I could gather, it had a budget of $3,000, which was a grant from the director's professor. And that was what I read in an interview. The interview did seem a little bit tongue-in-cheek, so I don't know if that part was serious or not, but that's what we got. It is very much trying to be satirical of that kind of schlocky movie, but I think they might have went a little bit overboard. I felt like
they were trying to be dramatic in moments where there was nothing to do. You're just like, okay, we're building suspense, and then nothing. Yeah. Next scene.
So I don't have, obviously this didn't get like a theatrical release, so there's not like, I couldn't find any information on how much money it's made. There was, for a little while apparently it was floating around that you could rent it before it was free to stream on Prime. You could rent it, and it was like $1 million to rent. It was the most expensive independent movie of all time is what they were saying, but clearly, just trying to be satirical. So let's move right in. Oh, forgot. This movie was directed by Howie Doohan.
How we doing?
And unlike the last movie that I watched, it is not written, directed, and starring. So at least it has that going for it. I mean, Louis the Llama is the top billed star on IMDb, and that is pretty true. Also, there's a person named Pinky Brainweiss, and that's a pretty interesting name. Howie Dewey, director, he does have a writing credit, but at least he's not the main star. So, as we move into this movie, it opens up and in a theme in it. I watch all movies with subtitles on, whether it's in English, whether it's foreign, whatever. It started back when my child was little, and it just kind of kept going. And after years of listening to music too loud, it just kind of helps. I don't want to put the TV on 40 to hear the dialogue.
You want to watch your movie with the neighbors too.
Yeah.
They can hear it.
Well, I mean, I can hear them outside drinking beer all the time, so...
all's fair.
But, anywho, they don't deserve my movies, fucking college kids.
Fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids. But, anywho... so it starts out, and the very first thing you see is it's like heavy metal music playing, is what the subtitle says, and then you get this animated thing that says Llamageddon, and this was the
that
one
was
and
my
only
favorite part.
That was
the intro.
There's 3 or 4 times that it said heavy metal music, and that was the only time it was playing heavy metal music. But you get this cool little animated sequence about the llama in space, or multiple llamas in space, and it gets on. Basically, if you've ever seen an animal carrier that carries horses,
like a trailer,
yeah, it gets in one of those, but it's got wings
slapped on each side.
Yes, look like some country boys. Like I'm gonna make me a fucking airplane out of this animal carrier, but it flies from whatever planet they're on to Earth, and it lands in a field. And the movie dramatically goes downhill once it stops being animated. Obviously outside of Louis the Llama, because Louis the Llama,
we love him.
So you see these two people, and they're like working in the garden, and then all of a sudden they see the llama, and it's got glowing red eyes. Like, yeah, there's no way to miss it. It's just glowing red eyes.
2 lanterns, bright red.
Yes. And they're all like, oh, well, it's going to storm. Oh, well, shit, there's a llama. Oh, we should call the neighbors. Nah, it's about the storm, and I don't want to chase that llama in the rain. Fuck it. And then they go inside. And he's like, well, no, the dude's like, I'll do it tomorrow. Cut to the next scene, and they're in their bedroom, and she's like, did you call the neighbor about the llama? And he's like, I did not. And she's like, it's going to be in your garden. And then they're in bed, and then the llama's inside, and it kills them. You don't see it. You just see blood, like, shoot across.
Frame.
Yeah. And then we spend a lot of time without the llama, really. So we've got Mel is the girl, and Floyd,
the brother.
Floyd was the little brother. So it was their grandparents who died by the llama, and they're coming back from the funeral. And I guess Floyd is supposed to be 17, 18, and the sister's like college age, but Floyd still has braces. He still kind of acts real young, and they.
Mom says something when she's dropping him off she says something along the lines of, oh, if he wets the bed, don't worry about it.
Yeah, they get dropped off at their grandparents' house. They're going to stay there until the will comes through or something. And they went through this whole sequence where it was like real tight on her mom's face, and then the
camera angle was like under the chin slightly, and like.
And then, but he was talking like he was a little kid, and they just kind of went back and forth. And it's something that maybe if they were going to do it at all, should have been 2 seconds, and it was like it probably was really only like 30 seconds.
It felt like a long
It
time.
felt like 10 minutes. So anywho, of course, the first thing the girl does is she gets on her cell phone and she calls her friend, and she's like, tell everybody. And then you get these scenes where she's just naming names, and hey, Spock, hey, so-and-so, Mike, just whoever. Are you coming? Oh, well, fuck you, where's my money? Just random. But she's clearly on her cell phone, and that is important for a little while later.
Steadily making calls for several cutscenes.
Yes. So then the party starts. Oh, of course, the little brother's like, well, if I want them to leave, I'm going to ask them to leave and tell mom. And she's like, get out from your mom's ass. And then...
he's like, fine.
So the party starts, and they're all drinking. It's all Busch Light. It's all Busch. I'm guessing that's what was on sale at the grocery store. It was all Busch. They were playing Circle of Death. You got the stoners on another couch. One's got the soda bottle bong. The other's got the hookah. The other one looks like, hey, we want this person to look like Shaggy, but we don't want to.
We don't want copyright.
Yeah, we can't get copyright infringement, but I mean, he was Shaggy. They even
Did they
called
not call him? Yeah,
Yes.
they called him Shaggy.
Yeah, Trent. You knew he was a great guy because he had the double black band arm tattoos, so you knew he was top tier guy. So they're doing just dumb party shit. And then Mel is in the kitchen and she's like texting her BFF, and they're talking about like scissoring or front butting or
something about getting laid, and they're like, "Oh no, I'm gonna do you first" or something. I don't remember.
But then she stops in the middle of the road because she sees the llama, and the llama just walks down to the front of her car. And then she should have just kept driving, as El Rey said in Planet Terror, is either you or them, and then it shoots its lasers. It's laser beams.
Laser eyes.
Yes, it was not a shark with a freaking laser beam. No. It was definitely a llama with laser eyes. And it catches the car on fire with some
fireworks.
Terrible look. Yeah, and fireworks, but terrible looking fire. And the girl is screaming. And then it starts kind of picking people off as they go outside. Like one dude, him and his girlfriend were playing beer pong. And somehow there were house rules where if you hit a certain cup, you had to strip your pants off. Mm-hmm. And it came out that the girl was sleeping with the other dude.
Some drama.
Anyway, so they go outside, and the llama kicks the dude's heart out.
No, he offers it a smoke, and it bites his fingers off. Then it kicks his heart out.
This is true. And we had one of the other stoners had went outside to take a leak and saw it, and he came back inside, and he's like, "He's got red eyes, man. Oh my God." And everyone, of course,
thinks you gotta believe me.
Thinks he's paranoid and being high and this, that, and the other. But then when it kicks its heart, but going back to the other guy getting his heart kicked out, it lands and homegirl catches it.
Splats up against her.
Yeah, then she gets laser beamed, right?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter. So then the younger brother is like, oh, this girl asked him to make her drink. And it comes to find out she's a cherry picker, so she wants to sleep with the virgins. So his sister makes him a drink, and it's whatever alcohol. So I guess, I don't even know. I think it was vodka, maybe, rum, who knows.
Maybe both.
Then she pours part of a beer in it. Then she pours, I guess, like club soda in it. And then she pours something out of another solo cup into it before topping it off with Coke.
Just a splash on the top,
for
a garnish.
Yeah, a little bit of carbonation. Yeah, a little bit of flavor. So he takes it to her, and he's like, "How do we play this game?" And it's Circle of Death, and he's just getting fucked up. Anybody's ever played Circle of Death? If you haven't, you probably shouldn't. To be real,
I actually haven't yet. But I say yet because I'm a glutton for punishment.
You're about 10 years past your age of where you should be playing Circle of Death. And I am well past that. Yeah. So, but if you want to, by all means, I'm sure we can go downstairs to any number of those college kids.
Hey, guys.
Oh, but no, I do not live on a dorm. I live in an apartment complex across the street from my college. And so I get a bunch of, like, the athletes and stuff. So I'm actually a little surprised we don't hear them right now since it is Saturday night. But
being real calm right now.
It is only 9:30.
Oh, it's still early.
Yeah. So, but as they're going, he gets sick and he has to chug. For those who are not familiar, every time you pull a card, you put it under the tab of a beer, and whoever puts the last card that pops the seal on the tab has to chug the beer. Well, he's already chugged a bunch. He's never drank before, so he vomits on the cards. And then he's like, "Oh, we don't have to do this. There's a hot tub." So everyone's like going to get into this hot tub, and there's this one dude. He's a muscular dude. Every scene he's in a different t-shirt. Sometimes in the same scene. Like, it'll literally pan off of him to someone else, pan back to him, he's in a different shirt.
He was rocking a nice tank. It was, like, striped, and then suddenly it was a red shirt. Then, at one point,
he had a shirt that said Bride. He was Raphael. He was a gold shirt. His last one was a gold shirt from Star Trek. With his space stick, which was just a wiffle ball bat in tinfoil.
He found it in the llama space trap. What is it, space trailer?
Yeah, space trailer after they ran away because all these people are, drunk. They're crossfaded in the hot tub.
The stick comes later. The space stick comes later.
Yeah, it's after
the hot tub.
Yeah, because they're all running. Who's left? But there's a bunch of people, and they're crossfaded. And Changing Shirt Boy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get some more beers.
I'll be right back."
And then the llama comes in and tries to kick a radio into the water, and the one dude catches it, and then he just like kills that, just hits that dude, and then it's the best lightning special effects I have ever seen. So
reminded me of Power Rangers. Think
early 90s Undertaker lightning effects, and then make it worse.
Yeah.
So at that point, someone else, that dude walks in and he's like, "Oh my God, the llamas killed everybody." So while everybody was in the hot tub, Cherry Picker Girl and Floyd have went into a bedroom, and Trent, who had showed up at some point in this,
Mr. Tattoo Armband.
Yes, Tattoo Armband, and Mel, they've went into a bathroom to bone, even though it's her grandparents' house.
There's like 4 bedrooms, but whatever.
Yes. So, but then they don't bone because as they're getting into it, and there's this really weird close-up of everyone like licking their lips and doing like really weird, not even like suggestive, like holding 2 fingers up and putting the tongue between it. It was just like
just flicking their tongue around, like a snake, but not.
Yeah, no, it was definitely the opposite of sexy. Yeah. The only one who tried to do their sexy was Mel, because she kind of did the short one and the bottom lip bite, but everybody else
was just cringy.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, it was clearly on purpose as they were making fun of it, but it was still, it was not funny.
It was a long period of people just.
And this is a horror movie. Now we get our only piece of actual straight nudity as Homeboy receives a tit pic. It's a close up of one tit, and she gets
almost
pissed.
Didn't even know at first. I was like, "Whoa, he got a message? What?"
And then so everyone's now run back. They're back in the kitchen arguing. Changing Shirt Guy has come back, and
starts doing shots in the kitchen while they're arguing.
Yeah, and he tells them they're all dead, and then they go look and see they're all dead. So now everyone pulls out their cell phones. Now, keep in mind, Homeboy just got a text message of a picture, and Homegirl made like 57 phone calls earlier in the movie in this house, because this is the setting. House. Now no one has signal, and then they're like, "Oh my God, there's a house line," and then he's like, "There's a llama shooting people," and they're like, "Don't tell him that." And so then they start.
I already told him.
They call their dad, who's sleeping with a hooker.
He missed the funeral because he was sleeping with the hooker, and he's still with her.
Yes, I mean that's a good session. She didn't look like a top dollar hooker, so he might have been okay. You save that money for penicillin. So they call him, and now they're all running away. The llama's killed just about everybody.
We got Changing Shirt Guy.
Oh, was it Trent who got turned into a llama?
Yeah, when they all went to run outside and they were trying to get to see who had a phone signal, and they're all doing the little Lion King, where's the phone signal, holding it up, and then the llama shows up and like spits green goo on Trent, Mr. Tattoo Armband Guy. Kind of looked like Nickelodeon slime.
Yeah, I made a lot of Double Dare jokes during that part because, well, shit, that would have been better. So he's turning into a llama, and at some point lays like 80, it's probably like 8 eggs, and he's moaning suggestively, and it's kind of weird. And he's also half man, half llama, so he's kind of like a centaur llama.
Yeah.
But at this point...
And they're furry eggs, which just...
is weird.
Does something to me that I don't like.
So at this point, this was after they found the vehicle, right? Because Homeboy was dead. Shirt Boy was dead.
They found the vehicle, and Trent Guy was off in a barn or something.
So they find the vehicle, they find the stick. Homeboy uses it. Changing Shirt Man uses it to bat the laser beams back, but it doesn't do any good. He gets killed. They run back to the farm, and Mel and Floyd are like hiding in a tunnel for when their grandpa dodged the draft.
Some tunnel between walls, cool, casual.
Yeah, but now their dad has showed up, and he's one of them good old boys. He shows up in a truck. He's got a sawed-off shotgun in his
back seat,
and so he pulls that out, and he runs across Trent. And Trent's just finished laying all of his eggs, and he's like, "Kill me!" So he shoots him. Then he shoots all the eggs, and at this point, they've run out of the special effects for the gun, or blanks, I guess, because now he's racking it and pulling the trigger, and it's just like like out of his mouth. They even show him. They even show the underside as he's racking it, and shotgun shell should come out. No, doesn't come out.
Nothing. Just.
But then the llama knocks it away, and it catches on fire. And then the llama boxes him, and he's like, "Come on, motherfucker!" And the llama rips his throat out, like legitimately
bites
rips his
the jugular.
Yep, and rips a huge chunk out.
And he falls to the ground, I think. And then
and he's dead. He's
You're
dead.
pretty sure he's gone.
And then they come back to Mel and Floyd, and they're running, and now they're in front of a combine, because it's a farm, and they're like trying to get away from the llama. The llama's going to kill them, and then all of a sudden, Dad's alive and in the combine, and kills the llama, and they're getting green goo schlupped all over them,
like a fire hose, just a straight stream of green goo just squirting onto the combine. Very tasty.
Oh yeah, it was delicious looking, right? Luckily we had already eaten.
Thankfully, that was a good move. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but I'm really glad.
I just wanted to. To be fair, I came in and you were watching Hot Ones, and that was infinitely better.
So I'm not just one for bad taste. I have good taste sometimes.
We were not recording. There would be a joke there. But we're going to leave it alone. I love you, Corey. Love
you too, babe.
We then see the kids. Their dad is laying on the ground and he's dying. And like, we'll take you to the hospital. And he's like, there's no time for that. And then he's like, Mel, you are my favorite, which is his daughter. And then the son's like, that's fine, Dad. Mom was always my favorite. And he's like,
no, he said, Mom was always my favorite dad.
Yeah, dad.
Oh, I thought you were saying my mom was my favorite father.
I mean, maybe. I think he was saying Mom is my favorite dad.
Fair. Okay.
Either way. Doesn't really matter.
Pretty fucked up.
And then
last talk with your father.
And then he's like, tell your mother that she's a no good rotten. And then he dies.
The end.
And the movie ends. And then there's credits. And then you see somebody eating eggs made out of the llama eggs. So they're eating like green eggs. But it's not as good as green eggs and ham. So
nowhere near as good.
That was Llamageddon. So normally, last episode I did star ratings, but that's what I do on my normal podcast. So I'm gonna do something new for this one. All right. So since this whole podcast is about watching hot ass trash, so our fans don't have to, we're gonna do trash.
All right.
Hot trash, hot ass trash. So trash would be it's trash. Hot ass trash is obviously worse. Hot ass trash is the worst. I would give this Joey's seal of approval of hot ass trash.
I would second the motion. It's hard to pass up llamas with laser eyes.
I'm just curious because it makes me think because we were going to watch a movie called Slacks, and it was
a close tie. I'm still going to watch that one.
I'm still going to get to that at some point. But we decided this like all good nerds. We rolled a D20.
Yes.
But I'll get to that, I guess, at some point. Probably the next episode after this one, because this is the second episode. I'm not sure when I'm going to post it, but it'll be here soon. And then I'm going to have a third one. I'll be back with my roommate Carl watching a movie that's pretty close to his heart, and we'll go over that when that episode comes. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching Schlock Talk, where we watch hot ass trash so you don't have to.
Happy to be of service.
Y'all have a good night.
That was fun.